guys, welcome back to the channel. So sorry it's been a little while. We've been super busy with FL2K and then getting ready for World Cup finals, but I wanted to do a little video to kind of show you guys some stuff that what I got personally going on to hope to be out at Mod Nats and enjoy this beautiful Kentucky weather today. All right, so we're up here at the warehouse and we got Joel's car. Art, I know after making a 690 pass or 695 at 202 miles an hour, you would think that leave the car the way and not touch it, but believe it or not, the car, I'm not saying the car was hurt, but the car wasn't 100% going down the track. We had a little bit of issues. You'd be surprised to know that the front driver's side spindle was actually bent before we even began at FL2K. So we had to borrow a piece of pipe from Cletus, shout out to Cletus McFarland, thank you, borrow a piece of chromoly tubing and actually spin the spindle somewhat straight so that we could go down the track. And as you guys saw, if you were watching FL2K or you saw any of the events or saw any of the coverage, you saw what the car did. It just kept getting faster, faster, and faster. So now, old Constantine, so believe it or not, the car does have a name. I mean, we really haven't said anything, but it's apart at the moment, getting some upgrades for World Cup finals. So when we turn the car up, it goes a heck of a lot faster, and it's going to be a hell of a lot safer when we do. All right, so enough about Joel. We got a whole other channel specifically for this, and that's, Stick Shift the World. So let's talk about what I got going. So if you guys did not know, I have been parting out my purple car, which is down near the end there, between that 2019 and that old F100 down there. So poor Barney got parted out, and this is the new whip. So this is a much safer car. Barney had an 850 cage in it, which was, good if we wanted to run in sports stick class. But, what in the heck is the point of being, I don't want to say mediocre, because I'm not, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not knocking the guys that run, 8s, because that's still freaking fast. But, why not try to go, run with the big dogs? So, there we go. So, S550 chassis. This has got a 650 cage in it. If you've seen the video on Stick Shift World, I talked about this car a little bit. This car used to be running the Renegade series, so it had a 76mm cast wheel turbo, 7-second class. It was automatic with a glide. Used to belong to the, I want to say this, but if you've followed Mustang Racing or NMRA and NMCA, you should know the name Bart Tobner. So this is actually one of Bart Tobner's old cars that he built, and it's basically like a Cobra Jet replica. And from what I understand, all the reading that I've done on this car, there was two done like it, and this was done before the Cobra Jet was released by Ford Racing. But somehow they got their hands, the chassis shop got their hands on the Cobra Jet blueprints for the chassis itself, and they built a Cobra Jet replica, which is pretty freaking gangster if you ask me. The car it has carbon front bumper, one-piece bumper if you didn't notice. This is still original body, so steel, carbon, steel, carbon, and then original bumper down the bottom, and it still has a lot of the original features on it. Now, it's obviously 5.0 badge because you see it's got a Coyote in it. This car started life as a V6 car, and it got into an accident. Bart and his crew from, I think, Chassis Pro picked it up, and they built this thing. Well, they built the chassis on it, and I believe in like a week or 2 weeks time. It's pretty cool. So it's powered by an NPR built Coyote 5-liter. I believe it's Gen 2 block, Gen 2 heads. The heads have got everything done to them. There's titanium in them. They're pretty freaking gangster. Plasma Man intake. It's the SFI one, which has the burst panel on it. The car is currently on methanol. As you can see, there's a tank there. So I just pulled the injectors out earlier. I should probably did a video before I started working on it. But it has the billet atomizers, the PPH, or 500 PPH. So I pulled those out because if you guys know anything about methanol, super corrosive, and when a car sits, you can have things go injectors not work right, stuff like that. So pop the injectors out. We're going to send those off to a local guy who does the cleaning, does a great job. We're going to clean them out and get them back, and then I'll reinstall them. Overall, there's not a whole lot that needs to be done to this car. Now, like I said, it was an auto car before, but it's going stick shift, if you didn't already know that. Since I sold Barney, which this is how he's sitting right now. I didn't sell Barney, but I've parted out a good portion of it, and this is what remains. The motor's still here, turbo kit's still here. I got a good portion of the parts, but like the electronics is off of it, fuel cell's off of it. A lot of folks have hit me up about the suspension and stuff like that, and I really don't want to tear all that off the car. I'd rather just sell it as a roller, whether with these wheels or without the wheels. So if you guys know anybody that's looking for a badass roller that has an 850 cage in it, and it has all new suspension, front and rear, and then a fully trussed 8.8 with 327 rear gear, all new AFCO double adjustable shocks, had a chute mount put on it. It comes with a fiberglass trunk lid. The car was rewired, but I pulled the Holley out of it, so it's kind of looking a little bit of a mess at the moment. But it's still all factory body, factory door panels, power windows, and you got the panel there. Like I said, I pulled the Holley out, so I had to disconnect, a lot of the inputs and the triggers for it. So that's why it kind of looks a little bit of a mess at the moment, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was. Strange brakes front and rear. If you watch the video, you've seen. So this car is currently for sale. So anybody looking for it, or looking for a 5.4, got a freshly rebuilt 5.4, which if you follow Andrew Lavender, you'll know he redid the motor on this, so it's set up to rock and roll, well over 1,000 horsepower. Feel free to hit me up. So anyhow, back to the new car. So the car, like I said, it was a V6 car. It had a ton of decals all over it, like a lot of the NMRA and NMCA cars do, because of the sponsors. So it looks a little cheesy. No knock to those guys. I get it. That's part of the the racing culture, and that's what they do out there. So spent a good week getting all the stickers off, all the sticker residue, getting it back down to the paint so that I can wrap it. So this car is not going to stay white. Last thing, it's everybody coming up to me like, oh, it's Bart Tobner's old car. That's cool. You just put a stick in it and you're racing it. I want to make it my own, so we're changing some things, and I'm going to wrap the car, and I'm going to save it for another video when I wrap it. Because in one of my previous occupations, I used to wrap cars for a living. Did the 3M certified course, did all that cool stuff, and I used to do a lot of custom wraps. So I'm going to get back into it, and I'm going to wrap this car. I'm not going to be wrapping cars for money anymore. It's just I'm going to wrap my own car, and maybe I might help some friends, but it's no longer going to stay white. This car does have the Brakeman brakes on the front, Menser front shocks. It has a 9-inch underneath. Menser's rear. It's on 12-inch rims. Those are welds, just like welds fronts. Like I said, carbon doors. What I like what they did is they put carbon panels on the inside, but it left a lot of factory stuff in it, which is I think it's pretty cool. So the OEM door handles, like I said, the car was done by Chassis Pro. The dash, it's the original OEM dash. The gauges have been taken out of it, just it has carbon inserts in where the gauges used to be. The Holley is actually that touch screen there, so it's got a Holley Dominator in it. Like I said, 650 cage, which are Kirky. And Bart's about my size, so we're a little chunky, a little hefty, so it's got a bigger seat in it. You can kind of see all the tubing, everything. The car is really, really well done. I'm really excited to get into racing this car. As previously it was an auto, so all I have to do to it now is put a clutch pedal in it, put a shifter in it, provided by MGW. So shout out to those guys at MGW. They're awesome. They've been supporting Joel. Now they just hooked me up with a shifter. So we're going to put an MGW shifter in there, putting a tick-built T56 with a Liberty straight-cut gear set. So we're going to put that in here. That, from what my understanding, is almost finished. So looking forward to that. We may use Joel's mock-up trans to get the trans mount done, order the drive shaft, and there's really not a whole lot after that. Electronic stuff, you know, when you go stick shift racing from auto, like, you know, you gotta just repin a few things like trans brake, probably scramble boost. It's gonna need like clutch pressure, clutch switch, yeah, a few things that needs to be done. Not a whole lot, but so all in all, starting out with a really cool. It does have JGS wastegates on them. Nothing against them, but I'm swapping those out for the Turbo Smart compressed gas 50s. I think I have 50s or 60s in a box. I'd have to go there and look. But yeah, so let's check out. Let's move the toolbox out of the way. All right, so the passenger side, it's got full carpet. And remember I was saying earlier that this car is a lot safer than Barney. I mean, the car's put together really nicely. It was done on a jig, so I know everything is straight. It does have a fire suppression system in it. It's already got carbon tubs, but it's still a small tire car. It's just got 12-inch. It's got a 12-inch wheel, but it's a 275. You know, you got the funny car cage in it, you know, so it goes around the driver. And as I was saying, it's got a Holley Dominator and then a speed wire panel, switch panel up there, and then the parachute release, CO2. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. See, you know, a whole lot of fun, especially for stick shift racing. You know, with Stick Shift the World, you know, we're very passionate about it. And then of course I got my own channel doing my own thing, because Stick Shift the World does do a lot of, you know, highlights Joel, you know, a lot of what he's doing, and the other guys in it. But you know, if you haven't picked it up on already, you know, a lot of it has to do with the red car and Constantine and what he's doing with that, and then just kind of changing the whole landscape of stick shift racing. Because a lot of folks think, you know, it's like some crazy black magic that goes into it, and it's really not. It's really not. It's just, we are more hard-headed than most, and we're willing to go the extra mile to try to make these cars work. And after going to FL2K and seeing the car go out there and do what it did, you know, it's really shaking things up. And come Mod Nationals, I can't say what's happening at Mod Nationals. It's not my place to say so, but it's going to be pretty cool. You're going to see a stick car, or maybe 2 or 3, going out there and running with the automatics. You know, all the guys that, you got these badass automatics, and it's going to shake some things up, and it'll be a lot of fun. So, you guys are wondering what our clutches look like. This is it right here. So we don't run Black Magic. Nothing against Black Magic, but these clutches are built by Rob Youngblood, and that is his billet 6-finger. He's out of Iowa, I believe. You know, Rob Youngblood's been around a long time, building slipper clutches. He does stamp steel 3-fingers, and that's the billet 6-finger. Those clutches are not cheap by any means. You know, so if you're looking to go really fast in a stick shift car and you want to get a slipper clutch, I would highly recommend advanced clutches. Now, if you're looking at a billet unit like that, be ready to spend every bit of $5,000 plus shipping. But you can get a steel stamped 3-finger for half the cost, and that's what Jonathan Atkins runs in Grubworm. You know, and that's a freaking fast car. So, it shows you what you can do with that. So anyhow, that's the current status with, here's, like I said, Joel's car in a million pieces. This is not at all unusual around here because this car's always getting worked on. And then my car, Clinton Bates' car, which is this blue one, which is for sale if anybody wants a fully built 5.2 with a Whipple 3-liter, 10-speed, 1,000+ horsepower car. It's badass. It's only got like 3,000 miles on it. And then, of course, Barney. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to update you, tell you what's going on, you know, what we've got going on. If you're coming out to World Cup Finals in November, we'll see you out there. We will be, I think Joel said we're with Palm Beach Dyno or somebody pitted next to him. He'll probably comment and correct me. I got short-term memory loss. After World Cup Finals, we are going to Mod Nationals, which this is where I should be debuting this car and racing this car in stick class. Joel's going to come out and do some things with Constantine out there as well. So we'll see you guys. Appreciate the support. And as always, be safe, and we'll see you out there.